How to combine audio and video is one of the most important skills a content creator can learn. I had to push that skill beyond my own limits when Brian G. Johnson agreed to make a music video collaboration we called Trigger the Algorithm. Hit the subscribe button and click the notification bell to be part of the conversation. Most of us have edited video before and even added music beds underneath our video tracks. But the collaboration Brian and I were working on required us to take footage from multiple creators and edit the actual timing of the things we were saying to fit within the music track. We literally had to combine the video and the audio together into one cohesive song. We found ourselves smack dab in the middle of a full-scale music video production.
Trigger the algorithm. Trigger the algorithm.
I had clips from Brian G. Johnson,
Hi, Dan.
Nimmin, Nico, Kamenzky, myself, and Nick Nimmin that all needed to be nestled within the song in a way that would make the song feel effortless. Let me tell you about effortless. It takes a lot of effort to make something look effortless. The first thing I started with was the introduction. That was going to be the hook, and that would hopefully catch people by surprise and set up the song.
Right, okay.
It was just a series of me playing some short guitar riffs. And then reading a bunch of scripted and non-scripted lines into the camera that I thought would have the best chances of creating the illusion of us actually having a conversation. Do you mind? I'm trying to play guitar over here. The entire intro idea was that Brian was trying to film and I was interrupting him. I'm sorry, did that interrupt you? The first step for me in editing was to detach the audio from my guitar playing clips and then pick the ones that I thought might be the right length. I had him give me various takes of what it might be like if he were trying to talk and a loud guitar kept interrupting him at different intensity levels.
Dude!
Then I just chose the most appropriate one to fit the mood.
Dude, I'm trying to do my thing here.
And I layered my guitar riff right in underneath at the perfect moment, timing his reactions to make it look like he was actually hearing me play. Take the clip we used as an example. He actually flinches very slightly at first.
I've said it before.
And then turns his head.
These are the...
So I wanted to use two different pieces to make each section of that feel like he really was hearing everything that was going on.
I've said it before. These are the...
Now I'm going to give you one of the biggest tips I have in my scripting arsenal. And it's something you can use right now. Ask questions you already know the answers to. Let me explain. If I said to get to the other side, your question would probably be, why did the chicken cross the road? Or if I said, who's there? You might say, knock knock, Polo, Marco.
Right, okay.
If you know what the answer is going to be, it's a lot easier to come up with the question. Now let me give you an example of that in context. One of my favorite lines was, "You're the one who told me to amplify my message." That was just something that I had riffed on the spot sitting on my amplifier. It was a response to a question that had never even been asked, but I thought it poked fun at Brian's amplify your message branding in a really clever way. Knowing the answers, or in this case, knowing what my response would be ahead of time, made it infinitely easier to figure out what Brian should say first.
Say the line again.
I can't hear myself over your amplifier.
I just dropped his lines in before mine in the edit afterwards.
I can't hear myself over your amplifier.
I use different editing techniques to combine these elements to make them seem more powerful. Techniques from fast cutting to L cuts to J cuts and overlays, because they can completely improve the visual appeal of your video. I'm going to get a lot deeper into how I use those techniques in the future. From this point, I started walking through Brian's footage and cutting it into pieces. Fortunately, most of Brian's footage was linear, meaning we had filmed his parts from the beginning of the song to the end without a lot of jumping around. That made it significantly easier for me to start cutting up the various takes of the first line, trimming away the extra, and then stacking up all these clips one after another before moving on to the second line, and so on. Once I had that done, I went back and I reviewed each segment one by one to find the one I thought had the best timing and attitude. I would drop that line in time on top of the music track and tweak it until it seemed to sit as naturally as possible.
Testing, is this it? Oh, wait a minute.
Then I delete the other takes of that line and move on to the next line and repeat the process. When it came to Dee and Nico's parts, I had just asked them to lip sync to the choruses and let the music play in the background.
Trigger the algorithm.
which I then used to sync to the song, and then I just muted the audio portions of their clips once they were in place. But when it came to Nick Nimmin, he recorded his parts never having heard the song. Let that soak in for a minute.
You gotta pay close attention to your audience retention. Just giving you a bunch to work with here.
He just had a vague idea of what the tempo might be.
Start right now, don't hesitate.
And he sent footage of himself delivering those lines in various ways,
Start right now, don't hesitate. Don't use that one.
giving us tons of options to find something that fit the song later on.
Start right now, don't hesitate.
No big deal. Just sang the lines to a song that he'd never heard before. Happens every day.
That didn't sound right. Start right now, don't hesitate.
So once I had my initial edit done and everything was synced together with the music, I sent that over to Brian where he was able to tweak it even further, and then he added visual and text elements to elevate the entire video.
YouTube best practices, I've said it before. These are the things you cannot ignore.
He actually sent that back to me one more time where I was able to fix a few things that I felt didn't quite flow right. And boom, finally, 12 days later and some late nights of working together, we were done.
That's how it's gonna be.
That was a heck of a project. And there's still so much more to tell about the techniques and tricks we used to make it happen and promote it. But in the meantime, do me a favor. Hit the subscribe button and hit the bell notification, and I promise you, we'll continue this conversation. Peace.
Trigger the algorithm. Trigger the algorithm. Take the advice, skip them.